Hey everyone, Josh here with another up-close look at a Star Wars toy. And today we're going to unbox Boba Fett from Return of the Jedi. And of course this is the Black Series figure, so let's go ahead and take a closer look at the packaging. And as you can see, this guy comes with a lot of accessories, so that is going to be fun to go through. And so you have the artwork on the box. And of course we have the character description on the back, and I will go ahead and read that for you guys real quick. Boba Fett, with his customized Mandalorian armor, deadly weaponry, and silent demeanor, Boba Fett was one of the most feared bounty hunters in the galaxy. And I'd say that's a pretty good description of him. That's probably one of the better character descriptions I've seen in a while. Well written. But let's get this guy out of here. And as you can see, this is obviously a bigger box than a standard Black Series. And obviously because he is coming with quite a bit of accessories here. And so you see we have his regular blaster. You have the blaster that is cut in half like the scene in the movie. Of course, the jetpack, rocket, and what appears to me to be this is going to be some thrusting flames you can have for the jetpack, and probably his flamethrower. I'm willing to bet that's part of his flamethrower, but let's go ahead and get him out of here. And wow, there's a lot of tape on this guy. They even got the little rope taped in. So let's get him out of here pretty quick here and check out the figure. But I can already see the grappling cable is taped in quite well. So, okay, I think he is loose. Let's get him out of here. Alright, so we'll put the accessories off to the side for a moment and just check out the figure. And looks to me to be very screen accurate. You can see they have all the cool parts of his armor, but one of the things I'm noticing off the bat is I've got other Boba Fett figures where they actually did the little cape part in cloth. But it looks like he is all plastic other than the rope. And you can see they have battle damage on the helmet, on the armor. The belt for him is loose. It's not molded to the character, and I do not see off the top here. It does not appear like it comes off. The cape actually looks like it's glued in. Let's see, oh, very cool. Okay, so the little aiming part of his helmet actually moves all the way up and then down over the eye, but it does not go back. So then you can see they have the hoses that come out for the gauntlets, and then of course we have this. Probably be the easiest thing to do would dangle it, but we have this little grappling hook that comes with his, oh, okay, oops, it just popped off his wrist, so it is removable. That's interesting. So you can just put the little cuff around his wrist, and you can pull the grappling hook through, so you can do some but you can see, yeah, it's like a little cuff. It just snaps onto the wrist there, and just because it's got a rope dangling, we're going to take it off for now and look at the rest of them. Here you can see the other gauntlet. It is I believe that's the flamethrower side. And then just real quick, let's look at his hand sculpts here, and you can see they got the one for his gun, trigger finger out, and it almost looks like both of his hands are in a trigger type position, but obviously this is the one for the main gun. And then they got the Wookiee braids, which are plastic, and they're permanently attached as well. And you can see it goes under his arm, it kind of like loops around, comes down. And then here's a little bit of look at the lower part. You got the knee pads and then the shoes. But just looking through real quick, I'm going to kind of run through his articulation real quick. And just looking at the shoulder pad, it is permanently attached. It's molded to him. So yeah, you do have the up and down. You can't rotate all the way around because of the shoulder pad. And then, of course, the elbow rotation, elbow bend. And he does have rotation on his wrist and a little bit of back and forth. But on this one, because of the way the gauntlet is, it's a little bit restricted. And then on this one, you know, there's a little more articulation because you have the gauntlet, and it isn't quite as big and around his wrist, but it actually looks like you, with the wrist, you have, on the one for his gun, you actually have up and down from the thumb to pinky, which is interesting. Very cool. All right, and then on the head, you got up and down. Oh, okay, so he actually has 2 points of articulation on his neck. You have right here where his neck is attached to his body, and then where the head is attached to the neck. So that's very cool. All right. You can get a lot more posing and looking like that. All right. So there he is. And yeah, of course, yeah, the belt is loose, so it does move on him. And then you have the little waist wrap he has here, all the rope. But there's pretty much a rundown of the figure. And so let's check out his accessories real quick. And let's start with the big one and get the backpack out of here. And of course, go ahead and cut this out. The missile goes with this. Very cool. All right. So how do we attach the backpack? You can see there's a little center peg and 2 little tabs on the top, and hopefully they will mate up with his back well, and we'll see how they, we'll see how this, okay, so you just press it in. I could feel it and hear it click and connect. Wow, yeah, okay, it's in there pretty good. There's no wiggle to it because it's got the 3 pins, and you can see the little thruster port here. It's got a hole in it, and it does rotate as well. So let's see here. Okay, so you can rotate it all the way around. Let's see if we get a close-up of the backpack on him. And then, of course, we have the missile. If I can get you to focus there. It's just kind of painted a gray color. It's got a little bit of discoloration in the center there, but it appears you just snap it in there. Goes right in, not a lot to that. So let's take a quick look at the flame attachments. I'm kind of interested in these because we just messed with the jetpack, so we'll get these guys out. And the flamethrower, I'll just go ahead and pop everything out real quick. Got the blaster, and then these sliced blaster. One part is taped in. Get that out, and the broken half. Okay, so that is everything. We got the pan empty. So let's first look at these 2 jet thrusters, and of course there's 2 of them. They look pretty much identical. Just a little molded flame, and we will see here. How does this go in? All right, that looks good. Let's get the other one in. Oops, wrong flame. All right. You know, a lot of these plastic parts do have some flexibility to them, so I know it looks like they're kind of pointing in towards the center of his body, but there's a little bit of flex to them, so if you need to kind of position them, but you can see they rotate with the flame in. They're staying in good. There he is with the full jetpack with all the flames. Very cool. All right, so let's now take a look at the flame for the flamethrower. And you can see, you know, it's just sculpted plastic. You got some holes here that I think actually make it look pretty cool. And so if you look at it, and it's a little hard to see on camera because it's the coloring of it, but there's like a little rectangular shaped hole in the end of the flame. And what you want to do with that is on his gauntlet here, if you look at the tip, there's a little rectangular piece. And so you just want to kind of slide that flame chute. And I'm not real sure if there's a direction or yeah, it kind of has a lean to it one way, so okay. So it's kind of, there's a way it goes on that's more natural, and if you were actually handling it, you'd be able to see it, but there's kind of a slant cut to the flame, the tip of it where it slides on, and it goes right on there, but you can see how it looks. It actually looks really good. But there it is. That looks pretty cool. I like that. All right. So then the last two items we have here is, of course, the blaster. And you can see it's pretty detailed. You got the detailing on the stock here, and you got the scope. And let's just check out how he interacts with this thing. And this has got this little loop thing on the back here. He's probably going to be a little tricky to get this thing in here. Yeah. So he does have a, there we go. I'm trying to get the actual trigger finger in the hole, but it's being a little bit, once you start trying to force the gun in there, it kind of like folds the finger down, so I'm trying to, yeah, this is a little bit tricky. And don't worry, I'm just trying to kind of pry his finger out a little bit here. Alright, there we go. I just saw it seat. Alright, so Boba Fett has a little bit of a tricky weapon, so it's just because of the shape of it and the design of it, it's a little bit tricky to get into his hand. And then you can see what it looks like. He gets his thumb through the little guard there, and he actually gets his trigger finger into the blaster. That looks really good, and trust me, it's in there pretty tight. So there we go. And then, of course, just to be thorough. Oop, yeah. I want to see if he can hold it in his other hand or how that looks, but it is a little bit awkward. Alright, so I was able to get it into his other hand, and you can see it's a little bit awkward, a little bit funny, but it still looks good for the most part. But yeah, it's just because of the gauntlet, and I mean, I'm sure maybe you could work with the fist a little bit. It does look a little unnatural in his hand. That looks alright, but alright, then of course the final little accessory we have is the cut in half blaster, and you can see they put a little yellow paint on it to highlight, give it some highlights. And you have the back piece here, or the front piece, excuse me. And so yeah, they just snap together and make the blaster. And of course there's that famous scene in Return of the Jedi where Luke cuts his blaster in half, and so that's what this is for. And yeah, it actually stays together pretty good, and it's just a little square peg and a little square hole. But alright, that's it. And again, we just have the little final accessory here is the grappling cable. And yeah, there's just a little wrist cuff with a hole, and it just snaps onto his wrist here. And it kind of matches up with the gauntlet a little bit, and to be honest, it's not on there super tight, but yeah, you can pull the cable through it. So that's how that works. But alright guys, there he is. There is your Boba Fett from Return of the Jedi Black Series line. And let's just go ahead and give him the final little test here I like to do, which is, will he stand? And of course with Boba Fett you have all these accessories, so it may be a little bit challenging, but oh, come on, big guy. Alright, there he is. It's just, he's a little bit top heavy with all this stuff on him. So, just trying to get a good stance out of him here where he'll stand on his own. Alright. There he is, guys, from the Black Series line. This is Boba Fett from Return of the Jedi. And thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you're enjoying the videos, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.